into family, stuff like that. It kind of matures you pretty quick being a student athlete.
And you face a lot, like you look at it's a rigorous, you have to get up, you have to stay with it. So I mean, did that prepare you at all for this group of friends that you now hang out with that is known as Southern Charm season 8?
I really don't think anything could have prepared me for that. I didn't know what I was getting into. Now, I mean, with football, you're faced with a lot of adversity, but with this group, you never know what you're gonna get, ever.
I mean, we're like halfway through the season. Like, just top line, like, how would you sum up this experience for you so far?
You know, I think this experience is exciting. You know, it's exciting. I never been through anything like this before. You know, coming from the sport world to like the entertainment world, I didn't know what to expect. So I'm just going with the punches. You know, you got to have tough skin because, I mean, fans come after you. You know, if you do one little thing bad on TV, the fans they're after you. But as long as you can put that aside and keep doing what you do, you're going to be all right.
And you didn't know what to expect. Like, so, I mean, you know, you were dating Kathryn, you know, in season 7, even though you weren't on the show, but like, you still didn't know what to expect as far as like the drama that was.
You know what? I truly didn't know what to expect because I didn't want to talk to Kathryn about the show. You know, I wanted to be her break away from the show. So we never really got into the show. I never really learned about the show. I never learned what the show puts you through or anything like that. I just want to be Kathryn's boyfriend. You know what I mean? So I didn't know. You know, we talked about other things, what's going on in her life, you know, the personal stuff going on in her life. That's what I was there for. And then the show is just like, you know, extra, you know.
Right. That makes sense. She didn't come home and complain about like this one did this during filming or nothing like that. Yeah. When you first entered this group, then, like, who was kind of the most welcoming to you?
So I knew Craig first. I met Craig before season 1. So Craig was actually like, we were cool, you know, then he started doing the show. My family has a clothing line. He actually wore clothes from my family's clothing line. So we were actually cool. And then as far as this season, the most welcoming was actually Shep and Madison. Madison's like the coolest to me now. Madison's helped me through so much. I called Madison last week. We had a 47-minute conversation on just like stuff. And it wasn't nothing about the show, just life. How do you do this? How do you set up this? How do you position yourself? Like stuff like that. It was amazing.
So that's got to be a good byproduct, right?
Yeah, that's good. You know, I felt like Kathryn probably should have been the one to do that for me, but you know, it just wasn't. No.
It didn't work out that way, which we're going to get to in a second.
Yeah,
but
it didn't work out that way.
Who was the least welcoming out of this group of people?
Least welcoming, Kathryn. Just kidding. I didn't really have any least welcoming people. No, I mean, I vibe with all of them, so it wasn't any like least welcoming or anything like that. I mean, you know, me and Naomie, we had our little fights. Leva, you know, we had our little fights. Leva's like she's like the third person. She brings the drama from person to person, you know, but she tries to stay out of it. That's like her job, you know? So, I mean, I guess only those two, but I'm cool with everybody. Everybody's kind of cool. Everybody's cool on the show, you know? It's just when they all get together, that's when you're like, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa.
One-on-one, everyone's cool, right?
Yeah.
Did it help having like, you know, Olivia and Taylor and, you know, like it was their first season, Vanita, like at least you had some people to go through this with?
They definitely helped, you know, because they were all going through a new experience, just like how I was. So we stayed close. We kind of stick together. Me and Vanita, after a while, after we kind of hashed out things, we kind of stick together. And, you know, it was cool, man. It was a cool experience. I'm glad I had them with me on my side, though. For sure.
That helped. Well, you make a joke that Kathryn was the least welcoming. Now, just going back, where did you meet Kathryn to begin with? Like, I don't even know the story of how you guys met.
Yeah, we got like a bunch of stories, actually. So I lived in Miami like a couple of years ago, and I would see Kathryn on Instagram stories with my cousin's ex-girlfriend. They were best friends. And I used to write him all the time, like, hey, when I come home, hook me up. You know, he's like, man, you're never coming home. I'm not hooking you up. So I actually moved back to Charleston, and they had a birthday party, and Kathryn was invited, and she brought her kids and all that stuff. And we were there for like 2 or 3 days. And it wasn't until the last day when me and Kathryn were by the pool and we started to have an actual conversation. And it got to a point where she was like, "Do you have any kids?" I was like, "No, I don't have any kids." And she goes, "Well, do you want any kids?" I was like, "Someday." As soon as she said that, Saint fell in the pool. And she like ran and like grabbed him by his foot. And she goes, "Are you sure you want kids?" It was like the funniest thing ever. But that's how we kind of like met and like hit it off. And then another story is we did like a 4-person date at a place called Halls in Charleston. It was me, my cousin, his ex-girlfriend, and Kathryn. They actually got in a fight at the table, and they left us, and it was just me and Kathryn, and like we kind of just bonded like right then and there. So that's kind of how it started.
Wow. And when so what, you like got in the pool and she chased after you because it was like, you said you wanted kids and she just wanted to make sure.
She wanted to make sure I wanted kids.
Did you know, and like, I don't even mean, I've had Kathryn on the show, like, I don't mean anything disrespectful by this, but like, did you know, like, look, since 2014, when she was on the show, she's made a lot of headlines, all the stuff, like substance abuse, everything with Thomas, fighting for her children. Like, did you know all of this, like the tabloid fodder surrounding her?
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I knew somewhat about her, but I didn't really know her personal life because I was too busy doing sports, football, lived in Miami. That wasn't like a topic, that I would follow. So I really didn't even know about like the monkey emoji or anything like that. I didn't even know about that. There was one day where I took a picture with her and sent it to my cousin. And I was like, "Yo, should I post this picture?" He goes, "You might want to hold off on that. She's going through some things." And then that's when I looked on the internet and found out. But by that time I already liked her. And, I didn't think she was like that from our interaction. So I felt like, okay, I can help her. I can introduce her to my family. I could get her kind of hip, and that's exactly what I did.
And that when you were going to post the picture, like, because that really did all happen kind of right at the same time. Like, I think you met her
at the same time. Yeah.
What about, were you aware, and again, like, I don't think this either, but, like there was that narrative out there, like, well, you're her new boyfriend right after the monkey emoji. Like, well, that's convenient. There was that narrative out there.
There was that narrative. There was. To be honest with you, at this point, I don't know. I don't know. It could have went either way. But I mean, we loved each other. And like I know she wasn't. I don't think she was using me. Because she wanted me in her kid's life. She wouldn't do that if she was just like trying to get her image back. So I mean, it was love. I felt love.
Right. And like when you introduce someone to your children, I mean, you're not just going to roll the dice. Exactly. And I mean, that's kind of a pretty serious thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And she wanted kids as well. So, I mean, I guess, we were doing good,
You were, look, you had a good run of it and you didn't feel used at all. Or,
we did have a